So that's The View from the Street. With me now is Martin Koehring, who is Europe editor at The Economist Intelligence Unit. Welcome. How encouraged do you think we can afford to be by these figures?
Well, to some extent, there's a stabilization now. Growth is still very fragile. I mean, 0.3%, and it's mainly a base effect. If you look at the figures before, I mean, there was a contraction of 0.3 in the first quarter and a contraction of 0.6 in the fourth quarter. So what we see now is a bit of a base effect. Germany in particular had a very weak first quarter because of the bad weather there. So construction related rebound in Germany. So 0.7 growth in Germany is robust.
Okay, so where is it coming from? Is it domestic consumption, do you think, within the Eurozone? It's very difficult to say because, of course, it varies across countries, doesn't it? Or is it the fact that simply the United States is getting back on its feet and that's a great help?
Well, it's kind of a mixed picture. I mean, to some extent, domestic demand has improved, in Germany in particular, because of this construction rebound. And also, unemployment in Germany is very low. I mean, it has been at record lows and has not really increased much because of reforms that were taken in 2003 to 2006. So they're now benefiting from that. So there is a private consumption rebound in Germany, but that alone cannot really drive the recovery in the Eurozone.
But if you're running a business, you might look at these figures and say, okay, well, we're now on the turn. Whether that turns out to be the case is another question. We're now on the turn. We can afford to hire people and we can afford to invest. So at the very least, does it not boost confidence to see a plus figure instead of a minus figure?
Yes, I mean, long-term business confidence is still, I mean, in the long-term comparison, still very low in the Eurozone, for example, in France. And even in Germany, it's picking up, but in countries like Greece or Cyprus, confidence is very low, and that's because credit conditions are still very weak. I mean, the European Central Bank has reduced interest rates, but they have not done a lot to actually boost credit to the companies that need the funds, small and medium-sized companies.
And this is just very briefly worth making this point that many governments still are heavily indebted and the interest rates are very low at the European Central Bank. There's not much more to throw at it, is there?
Well, what the bank can still do, it can ease its collateral rules, so it can make it easier for banks to lend because of they have better collateral. So to some extent, the central bank could still do things, but it's not just about the central bank. It's also about actually having a strategy, a growth strategy in the Eurozone, and they haven't really developed one.
Thank you very much.